Yeah. You know what's going on. It's time for that. Coach for the Streets, hosted by Mafia and Pain. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hype us up. We got to get into it, man. Lock it in. Now, before I get started, I do want to say this. It looks like if you are from Atlanta, you almost can't catch a break. And what I mean by that is we hearing what allegedly happened between Pooh Shiesty and Gucci. Amongst other things, you got the Thug controversy, 21 controversy, just a lot of things that was going on in Atlanta surrounding Atlanta artists. And then you have another situation where, once again, one of Atlanta's top artists name been ringing for a minute in a lot of situations. We done seen Lil Baby change his name. And all of a sudden, Lil Baby and his crew end up attending or attending a Super Bowl event, which was hosted by Keion White, NFL football player for the 49ers. But it was a private party. Allegedly, Lil Baby and his crew try to get in the party. And I guess they was approached. Long story short, some things happened resulting in Keion White taking a shot to the leg. Now, this is what I mean by Atlanta niggas can't catch a break, because now it's seeming like most of the controversy that we be seeing now is mostly a lot of Atlanta people. You know what I'm saying? And even from recent Jody Breeze rants, we done recently seen 21 with the fake streams. We done recently we still trying to figure out if the Gucci and Pooh Shiesty situation really happened or if it's cap. But ain't nobody said nothing. So we really don't know. Once again, it seemed like everything has been Atlanta when it comes to controversy. And Lil Baby is up there. He's a top tier Atlanta artist. So whether Lil Baby was the one with the strap, around the nigga with the strap, this is all alleged. I just feel like Lil Baby in a space where now you not only got to protect the bag, you got to protect yourself. And to continue to put yourself in situations that you can't control, you jeopardizing the money. And when we look at what's going on, we talking about an NFL player having an event, and somebody such as Lil Baby trying to attend, even though things went left. Either which way it goes, whether you were the one that physically did anything or not, as a rapper, as a star, as a celebrity, when things happen, the finger always get pointed at the person that leads the pack. And in this point, and at this point, this situation at hand, Lil Baby is the leader of the pack. When Wayne got pulled over and they found the strap in the car, somebody tried to take out for it, but Wayne still went to jail. In this situation, it don't mean that somebody won't go down for it. Shout out to interviews 22, 222. So Lil Baby was part of it for sure. Um, like I said, these is all, you know how it go when you in the club and you like one of the biggest names in the club and something happens around you. You gonna get blamed for it. So I'm not gonna sit here and say Lil Baby was the one that did it. But the way this is being panned out all over media, it's like witnesses is saying his entourage tried to enter. Keion White or his people also intervened and tried to stop them from entering the venue, the private party. Because what, to my understanding, is multiple floors. So whatever happened for Lil Baby to not be able to get in there, it led to a confrontation. And that confrontation didn't lead to nobody in Lil Baby camp getting hurt. It led to the person who was hosting the event at the venue getting hurt. And he just as top tier of a person when we talking about celebrity as a Lil Baby because he's an NFL player for the 49ers, right? That don't mean whatever happened to Keion White, and let's just say we want Keion White to get well. Because this is not the channel where we just highly glorify negativity and all of that. But to hear it was witnesses saying that it was Lil Baby entourage, that's bad enough. Because we've been seeing what been going on in the hip hop game right now. Most of the people that's locked up right now that was leading the pack either couldn't control what was going on around them or they was reckless theyself to the point where they end up in jail or they lost their life. And we've been seeing a lot of that. We've been seeing more of that than we've been seeing people sell actual records. And that's crazy when we talking about rap and rappers. We talking about Lil Baby. Lil Baby been shifting and moving and changing and rearranging and moving furniture since the Ricos and everything in Atlanta and Bonnie Willis, however you pronounce her first name, was going at the rappers, threatening all the rappers that them Ricos was gonna get laid on the table and niggas was going to jail. Then we seen 4PF turn into CBFW and a whole another movement, right? So I feel like Lil Baby been doing the things that he need to for the most part to kind of stay out the way, but somehow, some way, is things and people attached to him that keep him a part of these problems. And every time these problems show face, he is the face of his group. So Lil Baby's name gonna come up in every situation. That's why this is bad, whether Lil Baby is responsible for it or not. Because if anybody in his crew is responsible for it, that brings not only heat on him, but it brings heat on the crew. And if they looking at him and his crew like they a gang and he the breadwinner of the gang because he the celebrity and the one that they know for sure got the money, he gonna have to start moving like he in a drug game. Paranoid every day, watching how he talk, watching the niggas around you, cutting niggas off. And when you get to cutting niggas off, the ones that feel kind of entitled that's around you gonna feel like you acting funny because they ain't gonna understand the situation because they ain't sitting in the same seat you sitting in. And everybody that know anything about the feds. When they trying to get you, they'll wait for a minute. They'll watch for a long time. We talking about money. Lil Baby ain't no angel, and I'm pretty sure he got a bunch of people around him that ain't angels as well. Because if he was running around with a whole bunch of niggas that act like Casanet friends, I'm pretty sure this wouldn't have never even happened in the first place. If you get what I'm saying. But it did. Now we here. Now everybody talking about it. Now his name is being implicated in something serious. A nigga took a bullet. And when you the leader of the crew, not just civilians and people on the other side of the fence, but the police too. They look at the leader like you responsible. You the one that could control the situation. You could have de-escalated everything because people go when you say go. People stop when you say stop. At least that's how it's supposed to go when you the shot caller, when you the leader, when you the provider of the crew, when you the head of the whole machine. As broke as I am, I need one of these record labels come give me some money so I can show a nigga how to never go back to being broke. And definitely for never letting none of these niggas be responsible or be the reason that I go back to that. Cause that's what be happening. It's bad enough it's Super Bowl weekend. Keion White with the 49ers. Them niggas didn't make the Super Bowl. So not only did you not make the Super Bowl, but you had to take a bullet too. I'm pretty sure he ain't think that was in the plans, but it happened. I'm pretty sure Lil Baby didn't think it was in the plans too, but also you a Atlanta dude. You on the West Coast. This can be bigger than just what we see. Yeah, Keion White in the NFL, but we don't know what type of ties to the streets Keion White got. I don't know, just like you don't know. It's almost like a young Dolph situation, but it happened to a football player. You know what I'm saying? Because the least person I would expect for Lil Baby to be caught up in some type of drama with would be somebody that's like an athlete. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, it don't matter what sport it is, right? But to hear Lil Baby involved or allegedly involved in something like this is crazy because you would think it would be some type of altercation or some type of confrontation he was having with another street cat, another gangster, another hustler, a nigga from round his way, or a nigga from round the corner, or a nigga from the other side of the, but this ain't the case. We talking about an athlete, and we talking about Lil Baby. And you tell me if that's really worth it to jeopardize everything behind whatever that was. It's gonna be some places that you ain't invited. But your ego shouldn't get the best of you where it turned into something like that. So either it was him that had the ego or it was somebody around him that had the ego. But I ain't gonna just leave Keion White in the clear neither, because he may have been the person that had the ego and offended somebody that was with Lil Baby. And then from there you have an argument. And from that argument you have what you get. Because athletes have egos too. Money will build your ego in many ways. And when you having money, you gonna have an ego most of the time. That's why most of this game don't have real relationships with each other, because they saying, oh, the rap game fake. Niggas is fake. Niggas is fraud. Niggas don't be real. And da 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 da. That's because the position that you get put in and the money that you now have will give you an ego or an ego boost if you already had an ego. Because keep in mind, a lot of people come in the game with some money. Lil Baby was one of them dudes that came in, he was having some money already. My whole point is just another rapper that we may see end up involved in legal issues where all this money being spent up trying to get up out of it. Now the heat on you, so you can't do certain things, and these people want to put a nigga in jail. We almost hand ourselves over to them. You see what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy, bro. We got to talk about Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder having a little argument, the little back and forth with Ja Rule. It was crazy because you watch these clips and you watch these reels over social media, and you will go for it if you don't pay attention and really pay attention a lot of times, because in the little short videos that we did see, I didn't really see Ja Rule backing down from neither one of them, right? And from what I saw Ja Rule calling both of them out. He said, "Let's shake." It really ain't no more to talk about when you telling a nigga let's get busy. Tony Ayo still was talking, Uncle Murder still was talking. So I don't think neither one of them really wanted that issue with Ja Rule for real like that. So I can't really clown Ja Rule or say Ja Rule got pressed, because at the end of the day, even when they was sitting behind him and he was sitting in the seat in front of them and the argument first started, he really wasn't backing down from nothing. And at the same time, these niggas went outside by pulling out a phone to record the argument, because if it's really real, keep in mind, 50 don't really like Ja Rule because of Preem and the whole Murder Inc. situation and certain things that transpired between the two. We talking about a 20-year old or better beef, right? And then we see Tony Yayo. He done made more money on his career, in his career, talking about 50 than he has off of selling albums, right? So we look at Tony Yayo like he's super loyal, right? 50 took a coffee pot amount. He took a coffee pot full of bullets, bruh. And these niggas was hanging around niggas that 50 felt like had something to do with it. So it was real smoke. It was real blood shed over this, right? And 50 to this day really don't mess with none of these dudes. And I'm really saying this about Tony Yayo more than Uncle Murder because Tony Yayo been G Unit since day one. Uncle Murder came down the line when his career was falling off. He ended up on G Unit. So it's more directed at Tony Yayo, bruh. Because at the end of the day, you the 50 Cent mascot. You talk about 50 more than he talk about himself. So if you see his real enemy, let's just say Tony Yayo took one for the team and he seen Rule and he went at him. Win or lose, it don't matter. They had they scuffle, right? I look at 50 like this. Just out of Tony Yayo's loyalty and what he did in that moment, seeing Ja Rule, knowing how the situation with them is and how real it is, I feel like 50 would have got his lawyer, took care of the lawyer fees, whatever the bond is, getting him up out. He would have paid to make the situation go away by any means possible if he could with that money. And I also feel like the type of dude that 50 is, I ain't just saying he wants you to crash out just to be crashing out, but right there, that ain't crashing out just to be crashing out. That's kind of crashing out on a nigga I don't like the most. So in that situation, I don't think 50 would have looked at Yayo like he was tripping. If anything, I feel like he gonna be looking at Yayo like, look, if you ain't gonna do nothing to him when you see him, don't even say nothing. Cause now y'all niggas looking at the situation sideways, nigga. Some things really happened in this situation. When I see this nigga, I'm not gonna be laughing and joking. So when you see him, why is you laughing and joking? If you ain't gonna do nothing, don't say nothing. Simple as that. And to see Yayo still just wanna have an argument versus engage in some type of battle with Rule when Rule really was calling him out, it made Yayo look like he ain't what he say he is. And it also made Uncle Murder look like you really just there. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like he really didn't do nothing either. Yeah, you was closer to Ja Rule when he asked which one of y'all want to shake something, but you ain't shake nothing either. Neither one of y'all shook nothing. So my whole point is why even escalate something that could have went south like that, knowing that y'all on an airplane like that, knowing that y'all both probably traveling on business like that. You should have just left it alone versus create a confrontation and for the internet, bruh. And it's crazy because the older niggas supposed to be leading by example, yet we have two old school niggas because Uncle Murder and Yayo old school niggas now. In the new generation of rap, these is old school niggas we talking about. The young niggas ain't acting like that when we see these niggas on camera or whatever. They squirting them buttons. They getting busy when they see each other in the mall. It's gonna be an issue when we bump into each other, man. It's mandatory. These niggas older. With age come wisdom, bruh. You definitely gotta mature, and you definitely should have more polish than what you showing. So I don't know if they doing everything strictly for content now, but I'm pretty sure I'm willing to bet that if 50 ever seen Ja Rule It don't matter how long ago it was when we was right next to each other. It's probably gonna be a problem. It ain't gonna be no jokes. Yeah, it made for some cool reels and you know what I mean, all of that. But at the end of the day, man, if y'all really get into it, why even say something? You know what I'm saying? Because just like y'all end up on the plane next to each other and didn't even know y'all was gonna be next to each other on the plane, y'all could have ended up in the trenches somewhere in the city that y'all didn't even think of, and y'all both just happened to be there, and y'all could do whatever. Cause like I said, I'm pretty sure both of them was on business, but what we see, it's like we having this we having this time in hip hop where for the last few years we've been watching all the young niggas go. All the young niggas, you know, get took away due to the streets or go to jail, you know what I'm saying? Lose their life or go to jail. We've been watching all the young do that. And it's like in the last year, all the uncles of hip hop been the content, been in the media for whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Murder, Tony Yayo, Ja Rule. These niggas is uncles in hip hop, bruh. I don't want to watch. I don't even want to see him and 50 get into nothing at this age. They should have got it all up out the way at you know what I'm saying? When we first start seeing it in hip hop, they beef spilling over into the rap game. When we start seeing that, it should have all got taken care of, however it got taken care of then. It's 20 years later. These niggas is older. They limping now when they walk. Applesauce come with they meal, nigga. I don't want to see these niggas arguing, fighting and fussing and trolling each other on. Bruh, enjoy success. Because the last thing I'm going to be wanting to do when I've been rich for 20 years is argue about some stupid shit. I'm just keeping it real. It's a lot of niggas trying to get away from the street, trying to beat the street a whole nother way, however they can. But we watch all these successful, quote unquote, street dudes throw it all away, really over a lot of nothing most of the time. And then you got niggas like us ain't got too much of nothing. Working hard, hustling hard, nigga multitasking, trying to get to it. And then we seeing people that's successful, and been successful for a long time. And just, they take their blessings and they just hand them over. This shit is dumb. Yeah, it's dumb. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really get it. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's like you know what I'm saying? I come from the hood too. It's like me not understand. I'm not gonna understand constantly watch a nigga go to jail, get out of jail, go back to jail, come back home, go back. Nigga, after 4 5 times, nigga, what the fuck are you doing? Oh yeah, you wanna be in jail at that point. Some niggas gonna be stuck in their ways. Tony Yayo one of them niggas that's stuck in his ways. But he also an older nigga. The stuff that you did when you was in your 20s and in your late teens, you ain't doing that now. You've been living luxurious for a long time. So it's really no need to even act hood when you don't live in the hood no more. You ain't hanging in the hood no more. You ain't at the corner store where your ops gonna be at later on. You somewhere eating caviar pancakes, remember? Man, people glorify the hood so much. They forget the whole purpose for why we did or whatever we was doing. The purpose for it when we started hustling, the purpose for hustling, knowing we was doing wrong was to try to use this avenue to try to get up out of here. But somehow, some way, you gonna get stuck in it. Some niggas, you can't beat the game. I never seen niggas really beat the hustle, right? The streets, should I say. But I done seen niggas have enough smarts in the streets, even though the streets didn't work for them, take what they knew in the streets and put it into something else, and that worked for them. Like my pops used to tell me, you really ain't a hustler if you can't hustle anything. And that's why you got niggas that come from the streets that do YouTube or they do Twitch or they do this and they do that or they funny on Facebook, whatever it is, because niggas figure out they can do something else. Everybody ain't gonna figure out how to do something else. And I think at this point in his career, people like Tony Ayo and Uncle Murder without 50, I don't think they could find their way neither. You see what I'm saying? I'm just being honest because a lot of niggas don't know how to go and get it on their own, especially when you've been sheltered the whole time. And Tony Ayo kind of been sheltered. Like I said, Uncle Murder was falling off. Then you end up on G Unit, and ever since then you've been doing decent. But only thing we look for Uncle Murder for is the wrap up at the end of the year. We not checking for Lil Murder for no new album, no new mixtape. It's over. Months ago, we heard 50 tell Yayo, man, start doing podcasts. I'll pay for everything. Now he got a podcast. Did 50 pay for it, or did he put his own money up for this? We don't know. My whole point is 50 lead the way. Uncle Murder status and Tony Ayo status, you put them both together, it's not it don't equivalate to the same career as Ja Rule. Ja Rule having some money. Ja Rule still doing big shows. I'm sure right now, if it wasn't for 50, you gonna catch Yayo and Uncle Murder in your nearest hood club that fit about 500. And it ain't even gonna be a whole 500 in there. Their career ain't doing good like that. That's just what it is. It's just I just feel like once you get up in them 40s and you've been in the game for a minute and you've been successful for a couple decades, like it's just certain things you shouldn't be partaking in. So when I see niggas like Uncle Murder, I don't really take nothing from Ja Rule because at the end of the day, he gonna defend himself. That's what he supposed to do. But the way these niggas is carrying they self is a problem because there's still people that look up to niggas that's burnt out like that. Yayo and Uncle Murder are the niggas in hip hop. They the uncles in hip hop that still sit on the corner and drink 40s and talk about all the old stuff. You see what I'm saying? They can't give you an opportunity when they still got a nigga giving them an opportunity. They career been stagnant, bruh. It been stagnant. But the world work in mysterious ways, so it's never a time like I said, you never know when it happens or where it happened or when it take place. But then they could be somewhere, and next thing you know, Rule got the numbers. Next thing you know, hey, ball on his court. So when he show out, pop his shit, we can't be like, oh, Rule was wrong for that because they tried to pop it on him. You know what I'm saying? That's how the game go. I just hate to see these niggas that's been in the game for a long time because that's YN activity, bruh. And like I said, the YNs ain't even talking like that. They see a nigga, they get into argue with a nigga on Twitter or Instagram, and they catch that nigga, he's out of here like the third strike. So to see, yeah, we don't want to see that, man. And once again, man, get well to Keion White, man. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully Lil Baby didn't really have nothing to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, these are all allegations. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he did something or it's for sure he did this. They just saying it was, him and his crew got into it with Keion White and his people at his event. You know what I'm saying? So that's not saying Lil Baby was the one, but you can't rule it out. And when you talking about his team, we don't know how many people he had in his team, and we don't know the niggas in his team. So we don't know. But like I said, when you come with people and those people do certain things, you gonna get pointed out for it because you were the bigger name out the whole group. So it's going you're basically responsible. So you know what I'm saying? Hopefully he get up out of that and hopefully learn from it at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Keion White too, because things can go left when you having fun. Even if you're not trying to engage in them type of activities, sometimes even when you're not looking for trouble, trouble just find you. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably one of them nights where trouble just found Keion White. You know what I'm saying? But I'm about to get up out of here, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hype up the video and everything, man. We're going to be going live tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Basically, just wanted to test everything out at the new spot, because I got two different locations that I be, and I ain't a technical nigga. I don't know how to handle and hook up all this, you know what I'm saying? But I be doing it. I be getting it done. But once again, ain't no news like street news. Whether you're here for the streets or you're here for the news, you gonna get this work, man.